Here, full stop. Watching this.
Yeah. Oh, look at these two. All right, come on. You're okay? Oh, what? Oh, look at these two. All right, come on. You're okay? Either they're having an affair.
He's at a Coldplay concert and with his HR head, Kristin Cabot, and they got caught on the jump.
It started with what looked like a harmless moment on a Jumbotron, just a couple smiling on the kiss cam at a Coldplay concert. Nothing unusual, right? But then the internet took a closer look, froze the frame, zoomed in, and suddenly, this wasn't just another cute concert clip, it was the exact second a billionaire tech CEO's entire world came crashing down, because the man caught snuggling on camera wasn't just any fan. It was Andy Byron, the powerful and well-known CEO of a billion-dollar software company. And the woman in his arms wasn't his wife. It was Kristin Cabot, the company's own head of human resources. And just like that, everything changed. Because neither of them were single, neither of them expected the world to catch them in 4 Kelvin. And now that 16-second clip has turned into a full-blown public disaster. With Andy losing his job, Kristin disappearing from company leadership, the wife scrubbing her last name from social media, and the entire company scrambling to survive a scandal they didn't see coming. And the internet, well, the internet didn't just watch, it investigated, dissected, and memed every second of that awkward hug. From the way Kristin turned her back to the camera to the way Andy ducked like he was dodging a spotlight. And what followed wasn't just a few jokes. It was a complete unraveling of reputations, careers, and families. Because when you're a CEO leading a billion-dollar company and you get caught cheating in front of 000 people on a Jumbotron, it's not just a bad look, it's a permanent stain. And now, from investors pulling out to fans wearing t-shirts of the infamous kiss cam frame.
There was a Coldplay concert, and where was the Coldplay concert? I was at Gillette Stadium, home to the NFL's New England Patriots in Foxborough, Massachusetts. And here is what happened. They had like the kiss cam kind of thing that goes around, and I guess we should play it. Do we have the video? That zeroed in on this one couple, and I'll describe it for the listening audience, though I imagine 99% of the audience has seen this clip already because it's gone totally viral. Let's watch.
This isn't just a moment gone wrong. It's a living, breathing meme that's destroying everything in its path, all because 2 high-ranking executives thought they could get away with something everyone saw in plain sight. Just 3 days after the now viral kiss cam clip shattered the internet, Andy Byron was out officially stepping down as CEO of Astronomer, the billion-dollar tech company he once built from the ground up. And while the board tried to spin it as a strategic leadership change, nobody was buying it. Not when the entire world had just watched their top executive cozying up to the head of HR in front of a live concert audience. Because let's be honest, this wasn't a private slip-up, it was a scandal broadcast in HD. And the fallout was instant, as co-founder Pete DeJoy was rushed in to serve as acting CEO.
Word kiss cam moment at a Coldplay concert went viral across the globe. Now, we've now learned that the technology company Astronomer has announced that its CEO, Andy Byron, seen here, as you saw, embracing a woman.
While the company scrambled to find someone permanent. And Kristin Cabot? She wasn't spared either, placed on indefinite leave, quietly removed from internal channels. And although her LinkedIn still shows Chief People Officer, her future at the company is hanging by a thread. Because when the 2 executives responsible for upholding company policies are the ones violating them in front of thousands of fans, it's not just embarrassing, it's catastrophic, and even the company's public statement meant to reassure employees and stakeholders only made things worse, sounding robotic and hollow while the internet kept roasting them in real time. Because people aren't stupid, they saw what happened, they watched the clip, they dissected it frame by frame, and no amount of PR polish could fix what that camera exposed.
After it seemed like they did not want to be seen, well, the 2 people appear to be the CEO of a software development firm and his head of HR.
A complete breakdown in judgment from the very top. But the damage didn't stop at boardrooms and job titles, because behind the corporate chaos was a personal fallout that hit even harder. And while Astronomer's leadership tried to control the narrative, Andy Byron's family life was publicly collapsing in silence, because just hours after the kiss cam footage exploded across TikTok and Twitter, His wife, Megan, made her move quietly, dropping his last name from all her social media profiles and then vanishing completely, deactivating every account without a single word. No press release, no public statement.
Gone into overdrive, staggered by the pair's shameless and shameful behaviour.
Of his marriage doesn't look as exciting.
Just a clean break and a digital disappearance that spoke louder than anything Andy could have said. And the internet noticed immediately, with thousands of strangers rallying behind her, flooding her old posts with support, calling her a queen, telling her to leave him, telling her she deserved better. And the heartbreaking part, they weren't wrong. Because this wasn't just a man getting caught in a bad moment. This was a husband of two, a father who humiliated his family on the biggest stage possible. And while the public laughed and shared memes,
Sparks fly between a couple. They realize they're on camera, then they pull the ripcord on that moment.
his real-life marriage was unraveling in silence, the kind of betrayal that cuts deep. Because when your kids grow up and search your name, what do they see? Not a successful CEO, not a tech visionary, but a man caught cheating in 4 Kelvin on a stadium screen with the HR director and the pain that creates. That's something no resignation letter can ever undo. And just when you thought it couldn't get more complicated, it did. Because Kristin Cabot, yes, the woman at the center of that hug wasn't single either. And according to public records, she was married at the time of the concert.
Officer of that same company. She's the head of HR.
Having recently purchased property with a man believed to be her husband, who just so happens to be the CEO of Privateer Rum. And while he stayed out of the spotlight, you can bet his world flipped upside down the moment that clip went viral. Because imagine waking up and finding your spouse on every social media platform, arm in arm with another executive in front of 000 people and millions more online. And now, just like Andy's wife,
You know, it depends on who you are.
Yeah, what you're up
It will reveal all.
he's left to deal with a mess he didn't create but can't avoid. And what we're looking at now isn't just a PR scandal, it's 2 broken homes, 2 marriages hanging by a thread, and 2 executives who thought they could keep it quiet until the stadium lights said otherwise. And this isn't just awkward, it's devastating. Because when you work in leadership, especially in HR, you're expected to uphold ethics, boundaries, professionalism, and Kristin didn't just cross the line, she jumped over it with the entire world watching, and now her personal life, just like Andy's, is spiraling under a microscope they never planned for, and the consequences, they're only just beginning. By this point, the internet wasn't just reacting, it was detonating. Because once social media smells a scandal this messy, it doesn't let go. And what started as a 16-second kiss cam clip turned into a cultural phenomenon, with memes flying faster than the company's stock could drop. And suddenly everyone was in on the joke. TikTok edits, reaction videos, Reddit threads analyzing Andy's awkward duck, and Kristin's camera dodge frame by frame like it was a Zapruder film. And it didn't stop there. Because sports mascots got involved, yes, actual mascots like the Philly Fanatic, Baxter from the Diamondbacks, even the Savannah Bananas reenacted the exact moment. Andy tried to hide, squatting and turning just like he did, mocking it in real time in front of live crowds. And then came the merch Etsy stores selling Kiss Cam Karma mugs, t-shirts, even tote bags with freeze-frame screenshots of Andy and Kristin mid-hug, like it was some kind of twisted collectible. And the phrase, "play stupid games, win stupid prizes," became the unofficial tagline of the scandal, because this wasn't just a slip-up anymore. It was a viral event, and the internet relentless, unforgiving, and wildly creative turned their moment of weakness into a global punchline they'll never escape. Astronomer tried to slam the brakes, but by the time the PR team hit publish on their carefully sanitized statement, the damage was already radioactive. Because behind the polished language and transition in leadership spin, the board had already brought in outside lawyers to run a full internal investigation. Compliance teams were combing through emails and policy docs. HR was suddenly investigating HR, and investors, spooked and furious, were reportedly pausing conversations, demanding clarity on governance, culture, and who knew what, when, and for how long. And inside, the company morale cratered. Slack turned into a meme minefield. Employees whispered about severance, clawbacks, policy breaches, and code of conduct violations. while LinkedIn went dead silent as execs quietly edited titles, bios, and responsibilities like nothing happened, but everyone knew everything, and the real question wasn't just, did they cheat? It was, did they lie to the board? Did they disclose the relationship? Did they use their positions to protect each other? Did they expose the company to legal risk? Because if any of that proves true, we're talking contracts in jeopardy, stock options on pause, possible clawbacks, non-disparagement clauses getting tested, and a reputational crater that'll shadow every future deal, hire, and fundraising round. And the cruel irony is this: the people responsible for protecting employees, enforcing ethics, and setting the standard for professional conduct just detonated the standard in front of millions, leaving the board to clean up a mess that no corporate handbook ever prepared them for. And now comes the part that's harder to scrub than any press release or LinkedIn update, because once a moment like this hits the internet, it doesn't just disappear, it follows you, sticks to your name, shows up in every Google search, every job interview, every boardroom whisper. And for Andy Byron, that kiss cam clip isn't just a PR hiccup, it's a permanent digital tattoo burned into the internet's memory, because whether he tries to launch a new startup, consult, or even speak at a tech conference, someone, somewhere is going to remember him as the CEO who ducked the camera. And Kristin Cabot won't be able to walk into another HR leadership position without someone questioning her judgment, her credibility, or whether she's bringing baggage from the last disaster. And in today's world, where receipts live forever and screenshots never die, there's no clean slate when you're caught betraying trust, not just personal trust, but professional integrity at the highest level. And every article, every tweet, every meme serves as a reminder that no matter how powerful you are, no matter how high your title, when you make reckless choices in public, you don't just risk exposure, you guarantee it. And rebuilding after that? It's not just hard, it's nearly impossible when your downfall is the world's entertainment. And while the internet kept laughing and the company kept spinning, the people who never asked to be part of this story were the ones hurting the most, because behind every scandal, every headline, and every viral clip are the families left to pick up the pieces. And in this case, we're talking about two households torn apart overnight, two sets of children who now have to grow up with the knowledge that their parents' biggest mistake is immortalized on YouTube, in memes, on mugs, and in stadium reenactments. And as much as this has been treated like a joke online, there's nothing funny about watching your marriage collapse in real time. Nothing entertaining about realizing your family became collateral damage in a scandal your parent caused. And for Andy's wife, Megan, who quietly disappeared from social media, and Kristin's husband, who's been completely silent, this isn't just public humiliation, it's private devastation. Because while the cameras caught a hug, what they actually exposed was a breach of trust so deep it shook two entire families. And whether or not either couple files for divorce, the emotional wreckage is already done. Because once trust is broken, that publicly, that loudly, that unapologetically, it doesn't matter what lawyers or PR teams say, the damage is already living rent-free in the hearts of everyone involved. And just when you thought the internet would move on, it didn't. Because instead of dying down, the scandal evolved, mutated, became bigger than Andy and Kristin themselves, turning into a meme culture moment that refuses to go away. With parody videos getting millions of views, Reddit threads still dissecting every micro-expression on Andy's face, Etsy shops selling freeze-frame merch like it's vintage collectibles, and even late-night hosts slipping jokes about kiss cam karma into their monologues. Because once you become the symbol of public betrayal, the punchline of workplace affairs, and the face of HR hypocrisy, the internet makes sure you stay there. And no matter how many times you change your name, delete your profiles, or try to quietly disappear, that footage still lives on, passed around like a cautionary tale about power, arrogance, and what happens when you think rules don't apply to you. Because this wasn't just a kiss, it was a collapse. A career-killing, family-shattering, reputation-destroying disaster that will follow both of them forever. Not just in search history, but in cultural memory, because in 2025, when the internet decides your downfall is entertaining, there's no hiding from it, not behind PR, not behind lawyers, not even behind your job title. In the end, this wasn't just a workplace scandal. It was a brutal reminder that no title, no paycheck, no corner office makes you immune from consequences. Because Andy Byron didn't just lose a job, he lost the respect of an entire industry, the trust of his employees, the love of his family, and the image he spent years building, all in exchange for a moment of selfishness caught on camera. And Kristin Cabot didn't just violate company policy, she broke the very ethical foundation she was meant to uphold, proving that even those tasked with protecting workplace integrity can fall into the same traps of ego and recklessness. And while they thought they could walk away from it quietly, the internet had other plans. Because in the age of viral exposure, there's no such thing as a private mistake when you make it on a 40-foot screen in front of 60,000 people, and what's left behind? 2 broken homes, a tainted company, and a warning shot to every executive who thinks rules don't apply when the lights are low and the music's loud. Because when power meets arrogance and the truth finally hits the surface, it doesn't just destroy careers, it reveals character. And the world is always watching.